Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte won all 12 open Senate seats during midterm elections in May. And while his violent war on drugs has been condemned worldwide, his weaponization of social media hasn't. The CBSN Originals teams traveled to the Philippines, where journalist Maria Ressa is taking a stand against the Philippine government for using platforms like Facebook to spread disinformation and propaganda. Here's a preview of Fake News, Real Consequences, the woman fighting disinformation.
Social media promised a better way to keep us connected.
To give people the power to build community, to bring the world closer together.
Pizzagate conspiracy.
But today, it's also being harnessed as a tool for gaining power and silencing critics by spreading lies masquerading as the truth.
With all this,
In one country, on the eve of a critical election, the weaponization of social media put the foundation of its democracy to the test.
Kakapal ang mukha ninyo, kayong taga-media.
Make sure Maria Ressa gets publicly raped to death when martial law expands. I was getting 90 hate messages per hour. I just realized that this is the new weapon.
And the results are raising alarms.
That's the way they work.
It's a cultural thing that discretion is not one of our many traits. Facebook just made the spread of gossip faster.
And some warn the United States could be next.
This is not just about journalism. This is an existential moment. If nothing changes, we will lose democracies.
Wow, joining us now from Los Angeles is Adam Yamaguchi. He is the correspondent and producer of this story. Adam, even just in that little bit, it's breathtaking how she's putting herself out there to try to bring justice in right or wrong. What drew you to this story?
Yeah, our reporting around social media and essentially the clash between social media and society started a couple years ago. I traveled to Myanmar and Bangladesh, to one of the world's largest refugee camps. And what we found was that that social media was essentially weaponized to create a climate of hostility toward the Rohingya minority in Myanmar, and was really driving one of the largest humanitarian crises of today. And so this is really kind of a continuation of that ongoing reporting. We wanted to look at how social media could be weaponized in other places, and we found that really all signs pointed to the Philippines.
What was it like being in the Rappler war room during the campaign?
It was simultaneously invigorating, inspiring, but also kind of alarming. I mean, as impressive as the outfit is, Rappler still is a very small outfit that's staffed largely by kids who are really just out of journalism school. And so there's a certain idealism and a certain energy in the newsroom, but alarming in the sense that what these staffers are dealing with is a government that has essentially learned how to take social media, create an environment in which facts are incredibly fluid. Up is down, left is right, and so they've got a huge task on their hands, and they are sort of the David to the Goliath. And so it is alarming to see how the government has managed to create this post-fact environment.
Yeah, it's definitely an uphill battle to try to correct something like that. And given the results of the election and Duterte's consolidating power, what does that mean for the people in the Philippines?
What's scary is that no one really knows. I mean, after this midterm election, the party essentially controls all three branches of government. There's been a lot of talk about Duterte essentially rewriting the Constitution to cement his place in as president for the foreseeable future. So there's really no precedent. So it's totally unclear at this point.
Let's bring it back to the United States. You also spoke with Professor of Politics at NYU, Joshua Tucker. Why is he so concerned with the weaponization of social media in the Philippines being a problem in the United States?
Yeah, well, I take this back to why we set out to do this story in the first place. I mean, what drew me initially to the story was, again, the weaponization of social media and looking at how it could intersect with not only society but politics. And this is something that is happening around the world. This isn't just a Philippines or just a Southeast Asia story. in many ways, the Philippines is sort of a harbinger of things to come. This is a country that is essentially seen as a petri dish or a test lab for new tech products, particularly communications products, whether it's social media, whether it's texting and messaging apps. Things take hold there, and clearly have been manipulated. And this is, Duterte is essentially helping to write and pioneer an authoritarian toolkit. And so the ramifications of this are really global.
What about Maria? Is she in any immediate danger?
It's hard to say at any given point how the government may decide to act. She's been arrested on a number of occasions. She has 11 indictments hanging over her. She has a trial that just began a few days ago. The erratic behavior of the government in the Philippines is partially what makes doing what she does such a terrifying prospect.
Adam Yamaguchi, thank you. And you can stream the documentary Fake News, Real Consequences, the woman fighting disinformation right now on cbsnews.com/fake news. A full hour special also premieres this Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern right here on CBSN.